I will be discussing John Hattie's book, Visible Learning, and I will narrowly be focusing on 6 factors of curricula. However, in chapter 8, which is where all of this information is pulled from, John Hattie talks about the different programs and treatments given to students and how they affect them through academics and through other skills. The whole book uses evidence based research to know what works and does not work in learning. What you can expect through this presentation is that you will see a learning goal, then I will clarify a few statistics, then I will begin sharing those 6 factors and I'll start by defining them, then progress into showing how they work in the classroom and their effectiveness on academics and skills. Then, as part of the conclusion, I will share the statistics side by side. The learning outcome for you as a listener, you will be able to determine which of the 6 factors discussed are the most effective on learning and other skills inside and outside of the classroom. As part of the statistics through this presentation, you will see lowercase d quite often. And when you see this, this refers to the effect size, and an effect size of 1 is 1 standard deviation above an average student. And when it does hit that D equals 1 mark, that indicates that that student receiving a program or treatment is 84% above those that are not receiving those programs or treatments. Factor 1 is perceptual motor programs. These programs are used for students with learning disabilities, and it helps teach visual, figure, and ground discrimination, visual motor abilities, spatial perception, and balance and body awareness. There was not much information in John Hattie's book about perceptual motor programs in the classroom, other than it is most likely not going to improve academic performance or any type of cognitive learning. This program definitely helps with bodily skills such as gross motor skills, fine motor skills, visual perception, yet it doesn't help too much with the academic skills. We are in the negatives for reading skills, so that means that this treatment is having a negative impact on the students rather than a positive impact. It does help a little bit with the mathematics skills, language skills, spelling skills, and handwriting skills. The next factor is drama and the arts. So this would be the theater productions, being able to read musical notation, being able to play an instrument, or to be able to sing in a choir. Drama and the arts significantly help in the classroom. They help the student achieve in oral skills, self-esteem, moral reasoning, role-taking skills, and even drama skills. And skills from reading the musical notation also relates to being able to read the linguistic notation. And music also reduces an undesirable behavior. And that's because studying the arts increases engagement. And that also can mean that with that increased engagement, there's more academic achievement. I would like to circle back to when I just mentioned that the behavior increases when music is played. Positive desired effects happen with their behavior. And some interesting statistics I found on this is how it helps those of different impairments with their behavior. So the physically and medically impaired, it really helps them, just as with those with emotional impairment. And the numbers keep increasing for those that would be considered, in Hattie's terms, normal, those without an impairment. And it also significantly out of any other type of impairment shown are those with a mental impairment. The increasing standard deviations here show how increasing the effects are on the students, and as the numbers increase, the more positive that is. Drama and arts programs are also highly effective in educational and therapy objectives because they are promoted when music is played after students complete an activity. There is a small correlation on effectiveness of studying arts and academic achievement, though, but there is a small correlation of an effectiveness of studying the arts on achievement with verbal and math skills. The next factor I will be discussing are social skills. This is a program aimed to help students develop high levels of social skills through learning, appropriateness, problem solving, self control, and perspective training. It helps in the classroom by teaching social skills to help students with their behavior, as students also begin to feel more socially competent as they are being taught the skills they are needed. It is also an effective program when it has modeling, reinforcement, and a lot of coaching. And students with lower academic achievement and social skill struggles are considered having a learning disability that shows up in the classroom often. And unfortunately, disabled children are perceived by peers to have a learning disability and personality problems more than those that are not disabled. Social skill programs work for the short term rather than the long term, according to Hattie in his book Visible Learning. And the effectiveness of a social skills program is that it strongly enhances peer relations. And then it also enhances social outcomes, lowers the when initially identified to have social problems, and lowest when academic achievement is the outcome of the program. This program affects academic achievement very low. Students with emotional and behavioral struggles benefit with their social skills, but not very much in their academic skills. Intervention helps socially in the short term, and cognitive skills are affected the most. Social interaction and social adjustment are also affected. And those in the training program for their social skills do better than 74% of those not in it. So it definitely helps in skills, but it does not help the most in academic type skills. The next factor I will be discussing are values and moral education. So these are the programs that include citizenship training, health education, conflict resolution training, life skills, service learning, moral learning or education, values verification, ethics, and religious education. These help in the classroom with teaching students to learn moral judgment. And this is how they define decisions and actions as morally right or morally wrong. And these programs also just genuinely help the children grow to be good people one day. This program has shown to help a lot of students with their behavior and attitude. Now, through its academic achievement with this program is not as high through other types of skills. However, the research has shown that there are higher effects with these programs when they discuss moral dilemmas, and rather than on the programs that focus primarily on personality development. And in John Hattie's research, he has found that the effectiveness is greater in adults, is great in college students, good on high school senior students, and it is the least effective on high school junior students as their brain continues to grow and they gain more knowledge on life. The next factor is extracurricular activities, and this is the curricula offered after school. Academic extracurricular is optimal to better academic achievement because they are getting that academic enrichment during fun school hours at the end. And most effective programs are typically structured, have increasing levels of skill complexity required from their students, goal setting, and competent leadership, mainly from an adult, but it also provides leadership opportunities for the students to obtain one day. And extracurricular activities keep children wanting to come back to school and stay at school. And this ends up with them learning from their academic type classes so they can continue doing those extracurricular activities. I made a chart to show how academic extracurricular activities, athletic extracurricular activities, and work extracurricular activities affect through academic skills, engagement skills, reduced risk behaviors, and identity formation. And these are all compared side by side. And academic extracurriculars are absolutely optimal for enhanced student achievement, and we can see that throughout these statistics. Factor six is career education. And these are the activities and experiences to train in job search skills and knowledge of different occupations. The research has found that student academic performance correlates to how time intensive the program is. So, the more time and energy that is spent into this program, the students will benefit the most out of. In elementary, students respond the best when the program groups the students randomly, and math and English language arts are integrated, and between 150 and 200 hours are given to this specific topic. The statistics have shown that career counseling has positive effects. However, class intervention is the most effective. And career education will help with academic achievement, but it will be very minimal. So, how do all of these factors compare to each other? While I was compiling all this information, I took the average of the standard deviations to compare. The factors on academics I have listed from most to least effective. So, the most effective factor on academics is drama and arts programs. And then we go down to social skills, extracurricular activities, values and morals programs, career education, and perceptual motor skill programs. On other life skills, such as behavior skills and other types of outside of academic skills, really, most effective are drama and arts programs again. And then social skills, career education programs, extracurricular activities, perceptual motor skill programs, and values and moral programs. Thank you for taking the time to listen throughout this presentation. You should now be able to identify which programs or treatments are the most effective on academics and outside of academic life skills.